Hello everyone, I'm Ken Castillo and I'm here to report about marker beacons. So what do you know about marker beacons? So here we are to discuss that. So first, what is a marker beacon? A marker beacon is a particular type of VHF radio beacon used in aviation, usually in conjunction with an instrument landing system or ILS, to give pilots a means to determine position along an established route to a destination such as a runway. So again, marker beacons are just for indication. It gives off signals in the form of light or in the form of audio, and that will be discussed later on. So, for the history of the marker beacon, from 1930s until the 1950s, markers were used extensively along airways to provide an indication of an aircraft's specific position along the route. But from the 1960s, they have become increasingly limited to ILS approach installations, and as of now, they are very gradually being phased out of service, especially in more developed parts of the world, as GPS and other technologies have made marker beacons increasingly obsolete. So as time passed, so nag-improve din yung technology natin, and as of now, marker beacons are just limited to ILS approach installations. So paano nga ba nag-work yung marker beacons natin? How does it works? Okay, so marker beacons serve to identify a particular location in space along an airway on the approach to an instrument runway. This is done by a means of a 75 MHz transmitter which transmit a directional signal to be received by the aircraft flying overhead. So so yung ano natin, yung 75 megahertz transmitter, yung signal na ay ma-receive also ng 75 megahertz receiver. Then, when the transmission from a marker beacon is received, it activates an indicator on the pilot's instrumental channel. So, may equipment dun sa airplane natin ma, na yun yung magbibigay ng signal. And then, it pinpoints the correct height where the aircraft should be at the signal is received. So, again, ito yung sinasabi nating signals. We have um, light and audio. So, for the light indicators, so we have the outer marker. Ito yung color blue dun sa figure 1. Then yung middle marker, yung amber color. And then yung inner marker, which is yung white. And then also, as I've mentioned before, we have audio tone. So here is the presence of the audio tone. So again, yung 75 MHz transmitter may receive yung 75 MHz receiver na mag-output ng either sa outer marker, middle marker, or inner marker. Outer marker has 400 Hz filter, middle marker has 1300 Hz filter, and inner marker has 3000 Hz filter. So later on, i-discuss natin yung summary ng message indications niya as for the light and audios. So let's proceed on. So we have the types of marker beacons. So outer marker. The outer marker should be located about 7.2 kilometers from the threshold. The modulations is repeated Morse style dashes of a 400 Hz tone. Again, na-mention ko na siya earlier. The cockpit indicator is a blue lamp that flashes accordingly with the received audio code. So, ayun nga, together with the audio code na may 400 Hz, magfa-flash yung blue light natin. So, that is the outer marker. And then, yung equipment na nabanggit ko kanina dun sa nasa airplane, ito yung makikita nyo, yung figure na nandyan. So, magfa-flash yung blue light na yun together with the 400 Hz tone for the outer marker. So the purpose of this beacon is to provide height, distance, and equipment functioning checks to aircraft on intermediate and final approach. Next is the middle marker. The middle marker should be located so as to indicate in low visibility conditions, ideally at a distance of 1050 meters from the threshold. The cockpit indicator is an amber lamp that flashes accordingly with the received audio code. So, yung cockpit indicator natin is yung amber light sa baba, yung may letter M, together with its 1300 Hz tone. So, simultaneous yun yung pag-ilaw din yung pagtunog ng tone. So, lastly, we have the inner marker. The inner marker, just like the middle marker, the inner marker shall be located so as to indicate low visibility condition. This is typically the position of an aircraft on the ILS at its reaches Category 2 minima. The cockpit indicator is a white lamp that flashes accordingly with the audio code. So, again, ito yung makikita nyo sa airplane, magka-flash yung white light natin together with its 3000 Hz tone na simultaneously nangyayari. Okay, so now that is the middle marker and the inner marker. And we will be discussing the marker passage indication. So the ILS marker beacons have a rated power output of 3 watts, 1000 feet above the antenna, approximately 2400 feet in width and 4200 feet in length. Airborne marker beacons receivers with a selective sensitivity feature operates at low sensitivity positions. Ordinarily, there are 2 marker beacons associated with an ILS, the outer marker rather, and the middle marker. As said earlier, the inner marker is in Category 2 minima. So the outer marker indicates a position at which an aircraft at the appropriate altitude on the localizer course will intercept the ILS glide path. The middle marker indicates a position approximately 3,500 feet from the landing threshold. This is also the position where an aircraft on the glide path will be at an altitude of approximately 200 feet above elevation of the touchdown zone. The inner marker will indicate a point at which an aircraft is at a designated decision height or DH on the glide path between the middle marker and the landing threshold. The back course marker normally indicates the ILS back course and final approach fix where the approach descent is commenced. So here we have the tables for the summary of the marker passage indication. So for the markers, we have the outer marker, middle marker, inner marker, and backwards. For the codes, we have dashes, dots, and dashes, dots, and space. And for the light, we have blue, amber, white, and bright. Okay, so the outer marker has a code that has dash codes. Then for its light, it is blue. Then for the middle marker, you have dots together followed by a dash and simultaneously followed by its amber light. Then for the inner marker, we only have dots and followed by its white light. So, and just like the inner marker, for the back course, we have dots and white lights. And for their audio frequency, we have 400 Hz with audio keying, with dashed audio keying, and blue lamp actuated for the outer marker, 1300 Hz with dots and dash audio keying, and lamp actuated is amber for the middle marker. And lastly, we have 3000 Hz dots audio keying and white lamp actuated for the inner marker. So here is the chart representation. Marker representation on chart can be one of these examples shown below. So for the marker vertical representation, and then we also have the marker horizontal representations, and also the elliptical pattern, the bone pattern, and the fan marker and DB. So that's it. So to summarize everything, the instrument landing marker beacons are used by aircraft for yun nga, yung Marker beacons are used in ILS systems, and it is transmitted by an upward-facing directive antenna known to distances along the approach path. There are three types of marker beacons. First, the outer marker, the 400 dashes, the middle marker, the 1020 dots dashes, and the inner marker, the 3000 Hz dots. The latter is installed in the ILS having inner decision height of less than 20 feet per 60 or 60 meters. If the outer marker is combined with an NDB, the non-directional beacon, the two make an outer marker, or the LOM. They trigger a tree light indicator and a toggable aural warning in the cockpit when the aircraft flies directly over them. So, yun yung nangyayari kung paano nagsisimula yung light and audio natin. It is formed with the outer marker combined with a non-directional marker to form a locator outer marker. Then yun na yung nagtitrigger ng tree light indicator together with the audio tones. So, ito yung summary. So, ito yung ILS markers. All markers transmit on 75 MHz and receive nga din ng 75 MHz receiver. So, for the outer marker, again, 400 Hz siya, 2 tones per second. Middle marker, 1300 Hz, dash that per second. Inner marker, 3000 Hz, 6 dots per second. So, ito, yung runaway natin nandito, then 4 to 7 nautical miles, nandun yung outer marker natin. So, once na nandun na yung plane natin sa cockpit, once na mag-combine yung outer marker and then yung non-directional marker, mati-trigger yung cockpit indicator, then iilaw yung blue light and then mag-ring yung 400 Hz na audio tone. So, papunta na ngayon siya sa middle marker. Once na makarating siya dun, which is 3,000 feet from the runaway, magti-trigger naman yung cockpit indicator natin na maglalabas ng amber light and ng 1,300 audio tone. So, lastly, papunta na siya dun sa inner marker, which is in category 2 minima. Mag-trigger ngayon yung cockpit indicator ng white light and maglalabas siya ng 3,000 Hz, which is yung plane natin kapag nasa inner marker na siya is only 1,000 feet away from the runway. So, that's it everyone for the marker beacon. And then for the next videos, I will show you the outer marker, the inner marker, middle marker, and the locator outer marker videos. Yung sounds nila and yung like kung paano sila nagko-flash and kung paano sila nakikita ng pilots natin.